Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I giggle my videos. So he's giggling too, he gets it. So anyways, you guys, what is up? I'm here with my dad. This is my father.
Hello.
Oh my god, this is literally like so crazy. My dad, not only does he never get in photos with me, imagining you being in video with me is like my earth is shattered. My earth is flat right now. Shout out to you, Shane Dawson. The reason we both wanted to do this, actually we were both really prompted, felt to make this video because we wanted to talk about our past and our past struggles growing up with each other, I guess, or just kind of like seeing eye to eye as we're growing older and as we got older and things like that. And it's Pride Month and we're both so motivated. And my dad, it's really, really cool. My dad's super motivated to talk about his past with me and how he is now with me. So it's really, 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 really cool and exciting. And I'm gonna stop talking so much. I'm gonna let my dad take the floor a little bit later. I just want to say thank you to you for being so open and wanting to be on my channel, and I love you so much. You know that, obviously. But I'm really excited. I'm really nervous because this is really, really candid, and this is how like me and my dad grew up together, and how hard it was for me, you know, growing up, not having my parents understand me as much as I wanted them to, and not really being able to convey that. I kind of wanted to go in and talk about our story and seeing the major transformation that it is now. It's just so crazy. My dad works with me now. He works with Lunar Beauty, and Lunar Beauty is a family business, and it's so cool. But yeah, that's what today's video is going to be, and let's go and just get right into it. My dad, he is so tan next to me. It's not even, this is, I'm my mom's side. Like face complexion wise, I can't even get dark.
So my name is Manny Gutierrez. I'm actually junior, but it's easier for everybody to call me senior, just because he's the junior.
I'm the third technically.
Actually, the third technically.
Yeah.
But the reason why I wanted to do this is because, first of all, it's Pride Month, and that's has a big part of my life now. And it's just certain things that have come up recently that have just kind of been tugging at me. And I don't know, it's just, this is not me. Me getting in front of the camera is definitely not me. I even shy away from still photos. But this is something that I feel passionate about, and that I wanted to share my story because there was a time in my life where I wasn't supportive.
Like that's not how it is now. Like that's what's gonna help you get through it. Like that's so long ago. We are so strong now.
I grew up in a Latino household. My mom and dad raised me, and they did the best that they could. I love them to death. There wasn't really much topic of talk and discussions about the LGBT community. We did have gay family members in our family, but to be honest, I wasn't raised in a hateful home, but for some reason, I grew up resenting the LGBT community, and to be honest, I don't know why. Me and my wife of 28 years this year.
28 years.
That's
Fuck.
Unbelievable.
That's so amazing.
She's my soulmate. I love her to death. We've actually known each other since elementary school. We went to elementary school together, middle school, and high school. We ended up dating when she was a junior. I was a sophomore. So she's a cradle robber there.
Cradle robber for real.
We started our family at a very, very young age, right out of high school. I believe I was 17 when I had you, so... And
mom was 18? Like about to be 19?
Yeah,
like at the cusp of 19.
Yeah, somewhere around there. We started very, very young. So
with me, of course.
Yeah. We have 3 boys. Yeah. Manny is number 1. He was the biggest challenge for me. He was always a sweet, loving kid, had the biggest heart. We both knew there was something different about him. He played with dolls.
Did I really?
Yeah, you did. I was a huge baseball fanatic. Tried to get him to play baseball, but it was something that
tug of war.
Yeah, it was.
It was tug of war with us.
He did it, I believe, just out of love for me, and I appreciate that. Especially nowadays, I look back and I really do appreciate that. So I swear I'm gonna get through this.
Yeah, you're doing great, Dad.
So we knew he was different. Like I said in the beginning, I wasn't always supportive of the LGBT community. And me being the idiot that I was back in the day, I tried to change him into, I guess you would call a normal boy. We even went as far as taking him to counseling. I was in the mentality back then that this was a choice. I know 100% now that that's false. I wasn't very educated back then. Throughout your life, throughout your upbringing, when you got older, things just became harder for me. We started like separating. Obviously, started hanging out with your friends more often, not being at the house as much, but understandably so, because you felt disconnected, I think. And I want to be as brutally honest as I possibly can. Not only did it affect my relationship with you, but it affected my relationship with my wife as well. Obviously, she's the mother, she's the mama bear, she's caring. She was just being protective of you. Every time we would have an argument about it, it was all my fault. 100%. She was just doing what a caring mom would do. Damn, dude. Serious.
Isn't it like therapeutic though?
So we'll see at the end.
Yeah, I promise
video.
you.
We didn't have no bond together.
Yeah, we had no connection.
There was no connection whatsoever.
Yeah, me and my dad didn't have a normal, or I guess quote unquote normal, like father-son relationship. Like we wouldn't go outside and like play catch, and we wouldn't like do these normal bonding, or what society thinks as normal bonding male experiences. And it was because of the disconnection that we both had. You know, my dad, I always felt was trying to like change me, and I always felt like I was trying to change him to see how I was thinking. So it's like we had this constant tug of war back and forth. So instead of us talking about it and spending time with each other, we like just disconnected from one another. My parents would argue about it and they would talk about it amongst themselves, but I would always be excluded from that because I would always just excuse myself. And I feel like that's why we had like more of an estranged relationship.
I do remember this one argument that I had with your mom that really, really affected me, because during that argument, she just straight out told me, she says, if you don't change the way you see your son, you're going to lose him forever. And that's probably
I feel like that was a turning point.
Yeah, definitely. I began like reading just stuff on the internet about the LGBT community, fathers raising gay sons. I just basically educated myself.
And this is at what age were we here?
I would say you were probably, 14, 15, 16
This is
years
before
old.
before I went to counseling, before I technically came out.
Yeah.
So this is before then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't know when you started doing makeup, to be honest.
That was until I was like 21.
Okay, so that's
a whole nother kind of worms.
Exactly. I made the decision with my wife as well for us to go to counseling. For anybody that's out there listening to this or viewing this that is in a similar situation, I can tell you that as a father to father, if you're watching me, you need professional assistance. You need professional help for you to get through the roadblocks that you mentally have. Me going to counseling, being able to talk to somebody one-on-one really made a huge impact in my life. I was able to open up about what was bothering me, and in turn they gave me counseling on both sides, what Manny was probably feeling and what I was going through as well. It was definitely needed, and I would highly recommend any parents out there that are struggling with this is to go get some counseling. And this process that I took on or that started within me, it was years and years counseling and just trying to change the way I viewed a certain individual or individuals. It's something that doesn't happen overnight. I promise you, if you give it your 100%, you will see the changes.
Okay, so kind of changing the subject a little bit. So I kind of wanted to talk about me coming out and how it was for me. Basically what happened was my parents caught me chatting on MySpace with a dude. And it was a very like, what the fuck is going on? Like they sat me down, we all bawled for like days, literally. And so basically what happened is I ended up being the kid that I am, the people pleaser that I am. I decided to go to counseling for about 6 months because my parents suggested it. And just to kind of like talk about it, my parents didn't really know what was going on. I didn't really know what was going on. I was very confused. And then I went into a depression a couple months into it. And I just started getting more and more standoffish. I feel like I started becoming more reserved. I started hanging out with my friends more. I spent less time at home. I spent more time in my room. And it was because, you know, I felt like I wasn't doing anything right. I felt like, you know, I was letting my family down. I felt like I was letting my parents down. I felt like I was letting myself down and I wasn't able to change. But my parents, being the awesome parents that they are, approached me and were like, what is going on? They noticed my disconnect. I feel like you guys like were like, oh my God. So they noticed my disconnect and I told them the truth, and I thought that the counseling was what was making me a little bit more depressed and that was sending me into the spiral. And so they told me that I didn't have to keep going. And I feel like that was a big moment in our life and a big moment for us as like me, my mom, and my dad, when they said that they just want me to be happy. You know, they wanted like the old son back is basically what they kind of explained it to me as. They wanted the old me, the happy me, the one that was exuberant and happy all the time. I stopped going, and then we went into like a big phase of don't ask, don't tell in my house. We literally never talked about anything after that for years and years and years. And it didn't really get brought up until they discovered my Instagram. And that is when like shit hit the fan. That is when things got a lot more complicated. You know, on my Instagram, I had started in drag, or had started like my makeup career in drag. And that became such a confusing time for both my mom and my dad. And they were very like, are you trying to become a woman? Are you transition? Like what? Like they just didn't understand what I was doing and why I thought it was fun and creative and just expressing a different form of creativity for myself. I still remember the day when you guys approached me by my Instagram and I went into a full panic attack, full on like breathing into a paper bag in my room. Not only were we not bad terms, but we weren't on like the best of terms. We were still very disconnected and we were still very just like not close in any way. But then throwing this on top of it, you know, them seeing me in drag and them just being like, what the fuck? Like, what is going on? Like, they just not know what was going on in my life. And I didn't want to tell them either. I didn't want to express it to them because I didn't want to tell them about me wanting to play with makeup or working at Sephora or anything like that because I didn't think that they would understand. And, you know, they didn't. And they wanted me to delete my Instagram.
Hell no.
So they did not get it. And it was for me really for good reason, like lying to them. Like, I told my dad I worked at JCPenney. I did work at JCPenney technically. It was a Sephora inside JCPenney. And I would jump out my window when I would go to work so that they wouldn't see me with makeup on, and then I would have makeup wipes in my car and I would take off my makeup before I went into the house so they would never know that I was wearing makeup. And it was just such a weird, crazy time that like even thinking about that, it seems like a different life for me. But when they had discovered my Instagram and when I started really getting into makeup is when I thought things got really hard.
Again, we knew you were gay, but the whole makeup aspect of it just took it to another level where I wasn't ready for. Again, your mom being the more caring, more understanding,
sweet creature she is.
Yeah, the more understanding person in the relationship. She talked to you and tried to help you through your, I guess, anxiety issues that you were having. Me, I was more standoffish. To be honest, I'm embarrassed of that. I feel horrible for the, not the things I did, but the way I behaved, the way I acted towards my son during his difficult time, difficult years in his childhood. In his growing up as a young man, having to go through this alone, I could just imagine. This is why I'm doing it, to be honest. I want to help other kids that are going through the same things that Manny went through. I also want to help parents understand that you can make a change. I'm living proof here that you can make a change. It's going to take a lot of work and take a lot of time. You can do it. It's the same kid that you were holding in your arms when he was a little baby. I have pictures, and I didn't tell Manny I was going to bring these, but he probably doesn't want me to show them. But I don't.
You have photos?
I don't give a shit.
Oh my god!
I'm going to do it anyways.
Dad, what the?
So this is Manny when he was a little tyke, a little boy, and these are my two favorite pictures.
Look at my headshot.
But
oh my goodness, that's a sweet smile.
Yeah, this kid right here is the same one in this picture right here. The same man, the same boy that I grew up loving. That was one of the ways that I kind of helped myself get through the difficult times. And you probably didn't know this, but I would go look at pictures like this, and I would literally be in the garage talking to myself, saying, the kid that you're upset right now at is the same damn kid in that picture. The quicker you realize that, the easier and the faster you're going to get to the point where you can be that supportive parent. And if you're not, then go get some help like I did. They need you for the rest of their lives. And likewise, I need him in my life for the rest of my life as well. There are organizations out there that can help you. There are support groups that you can contact, but don't ever abandon your kid. Keep loving them because they are your child. You might not always agree with them because he's a hardhead, stubborn kid, but I will always support him in whatever he does. When you went through that whole drag phase and in the makeup, again, I wasn't excited about it. But again, I was already in that transition point where I knew if I wasn't a loving, supporting dad, I probably would have lost you forever. So it took me a little while after, because it was like, okay, we found out that you were gay, and then later on we found out you were wearing makeup. For me, that was like a big shocker to me, and I can't really tell you exactly when I was okay with it because I really don't know.
Yeah, I really don't either. Honestly.
I can't pinpoint a day or a year where I was like, I'm cool with it, but I am, obviously.
I feel like it was just time.
Yeah, it
really helped, you know, like just time.
Definitely.
In general, you know, the more I grew on social media, the more I got to show my family that I was able to take care of myself. And, you know, I would show them my stories, that people sending me emails and DMs and people saying how my story or who I was helping them in a way, you know, or helping other young men who want to wear makeup or who just basically just want to express themselves, or other young women who want to express themselves. I would show them like, oh my God, look at this like message I just got from this person that loves me and doesn't really even know who I am. I feel like you and Mom were both able to see that I was okay okay and that I wasn't, just doing this off of fluke, and that I wasn't going to be a failure.
Yeah, but to be honest, I don't think it had anything to do with like a career choice or us just knowing that you were going to be okay. I think you kind of touched on it a little bit, is that we saw that you were happy. I think that was the biggest thing for us, is that you came out of that funk that you were in and you started becoming your old self again. And that's where I think that turning point was for all of us, was that we started to see the Manny that we all knew and loved. Going back on what you said in regards to people contacting you and sharing their stories with you and how you've affected their lives, I'm thankful for that. I'm actually thankful for all your followers. I guess you made it possible for him to get through those tough times. I wasn't there. I should have been, but I wasn't. I love all your followers. Everybody that's been there to support you, I give you a big thanks. You were there at a time when he needed you the most. You were there at a time where I should have been there, but I wasn't. You've helped him realize his dream, especially with all the growth that he's had in the last, 2, 3, 4 years from when you started working at Sephora and Mac. Fast forwarding to today, just this last Saturday, you had your first launch
for this
with this palette right here.
This fucker right here.
Yeah. And to be honest, I'd like to share my take on this, because I know he's given you the reasoning behind that, and it's a beautiful story. This means so much more to me than you know. When I see this, I see him literally fighting and struggling and working so hard to achieve his goals, even though he didn't have the support of his father or his family at times. He did start off in drag, and I know there's people out there that don't believe him. I don't really give a shit what you say. I know the truth, and there's other shit out there that I know the truth, but I'm not gonna say anything now. I will say it later. I swear to you, I will. When he came up with that idea, I was probably the proudest I've ever been of him when it did come out. When we first completed, when we received it for the first time, we actually held it in our hands. I was a proud papa. I know the struggles behind this. I'm a part of Lunar Beauty. I'm going to make sure that as a company that we do give back to the community. I'm going to make it a mission of my life that I will be there for the LGBTQ youth that needs help and guidance. I thank you all. There's really not much I can say. I'm going to ask my son to help me create, I guess, my social media platform so I could bring awareness to the cause. Great organizations out there that are there to help, and I want to make sure that I give everything that I possibly can to help them out. They just need to have somebody tell them that they're loved. Maybe I'll even do videos like this in the near future. They probably won't be this fancy or edited. I'll probably just be behind my damn computer, but I want to share my views, maybe do Q&As with parents that are struggling out there.
Well, I will help you, of course, create an Instagram and a Twitter and do all that you would like, of course. I just wanted to sit here and just chat with you guys. Again, like I said earlier, it's Pride Month, and I just wanted to, talk about my journey with my dad and with my family, and how it hasn't always been easy for me. And I know a lot of people see my life and think that, like, oh, his life is, like, perfect. It's outlandish. He's a beauty guru. He has millions of followers. It's so easy for him all the time, but it's not. And I just want you guys to know that I've struggled so much in the past. I've struggled for so long and so hard. I really had to dig within myself to really keep going and really keep pushing. And I've been so lucky to have the platform that I have, to talk about these kind of things, and for you guys to be able to reach out to me or give you guys resources. I'm going to link some links down below of different organizations for you guys if you guys need some help. I just want to say thank you to my dad for coming on here and being so candid and being so honest, and just, confronting his past with how it was for the LGBT community with him and how it was for us, growing up and things like that. It was hard, but we got through it, and now we work together like literally every single day.
We sure do.
It's so cool and so crazy to see such a transformation, and I'm so lucky to have the parents that I have who are so loving. If you guys have parents who are going through something similar, show them this video if this helps you, or maybe might help them too. We've gotten to a point that's so great, and I know it's just going to continue to get better and better as the years go by. Yeah, that's it, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I know this is definitely not the normal Manny MUA video, but I really, really, really wanted to make it for especially being Pride Month, and wanting to share my story with my dad and just show that it does get better and it does get easier for those who feel like they're in a rut and they're struggling, and that it will get better for you guys. I love you guys so much. Have a great rest of the night or day wherever you guys are, and we will catch you guys in our next video. Mwah.
Take care.
Bye, you guys. Nice. Good job, Dad. Oh, I love you. Wow, I'm pale. Fuck. Like, Dad, you're a Latino compared to me.
I sure am. This is going to be a lot harder than I thought it was. Shit. I haven't even got into my fucking first.
You didn't started yet,
first
Dad.
damn paragraph. Swear, man.
You're doing great,
I'm gonna
Dad.
kick your ass after this.